4 albums from October 2025 deserved consideration as the best of the month. We're passing out gold, silver, and bronze medals, and we're going to structure this like a sports talk show because this is what the internet has become in 2026. Juliana, Riolino versus SnoCaps. Juliana Riolino was a revelation to me. I try to listen to 1,000 new album releases every year. That volume always delivers a lot of mediocre crap when you're queuing up unknown commodities. So finding something genuinely new that you actually love is probably the most exciting outcome possible in this scenario. Riolino's sophomore effort, Echo in the Dust, delivers a fearlessly balanced track list full of tension and release magic. There is a natural ebb and flow, but the highs absolutely soar. Like a Rembrandt and It's a Shakedown both feel nostalgic and revolutionary. While a bit uneven at times as an album, it's a grand statement and feels like a real artistic breakthrough. SnoCaps were clearly the known commodity coming into the month. Americana royalty Katie Crutchfield of Waxahachie teams up with her sister Allison and alt country's new it boy MJ Linderman to deliver a surprise release that really covers everything I look for in new music. It's full of hooks, great lyrics, and this patina of instantly recognizable nostalgia. It's a case study in the power of simplicity and alchemy of just great songcraft. Heathcliff and Cherry Hard Candy jump out of the speakers, albeit in a quietly restrained way. I found myself equally excited to be swimming in its beautiful harmonic and melodic waves, and also embarrassed that I haven't been a full-throated supporter of Crutchfield's previous efforts. I've certainly liked everything that I've heard, but this was a real eye-opener for me. I love both albums, but SnoCap definitely earns the guaranteed podium slot and might be one of the best albums of the year. If you've listened to either of these albums, post the artist's name and your favorite track from said album. And if you've listened to both, comment, vote, and let me know your favorite of the two. Orchestra Gold versus Saintseneca. Orchestra Gold definitely fills in as the challenger here and could almost be argued as more of an academic endeavor than any attempt to garner any kind of commercial favor. Sounds like more of a slight than I actually mean it to, but it is undeniably attempting to carve out a niche within a niche. But anyone that loves great guitar playing, cue this up right now. The fuzzed out tones make it difficult for me to concentrate on anything else. This psyche Afrobeat excursion is an instrumental tour de force. Vocals fall a bit flat for me, but just musically was kind of stunning and a fun listen from jump. Saintseneca serves as a decided yin to Orchestra Gold's yang. The hyper-literate singer-songwriter fare from Saintseneca might be getting bonus points for me due to the fact that they hail from Columbus, Ohio, which is about 75 miles from my front door. Leader Zach Little dominates the mix in a good way. Tracks like Escape Artist and Infinity Leaf Clover sound like a 16th century troubadour was dropped into an indie band. The latter descends into a beautifully chaotic ending that somehow continues to build over the course of its 7-minute runtime. However, Green Ink Pen has just bored itself into my soul. It's a beautiful take on the mystical experience of the creative process. Again, two great albums for two entirely different reasons, but Saintseneca had me digging into their entire discography, and they earned the trip to the title round. Same as the previous matchup. If you've heard either album, let me know your favorite track. If you've heard both, comment, vote along with your pick for the winner. We'll keep things quick on the bronze matchup. It goes to Orchestra Gold. I love Riolino's album, and I'm highly anticipating her future releases, but Orchestra Gold's psyche, fuzzed out guitars just hit me in a happy spot, and even with the vocal issues that I had with it, the music was just so good. And for the gold medal round, Saintseneca needs to be added to your listening queue. This was my first experience with the group, and it was a bit of a slow burn for me, but multiple listens have really bolstered my love for what they are doing. Reddit fans point to their 2018 release Pillar of Na as the real high watermark for the band. For me, SnoCaps came into the week as one of my most anticipated releases. I've been more than aware of Waxahachie than a massive fan, but I've always really liked everything that I've heard. That said, this straight up smacked me in the face. It's pretty low key, but the songcraft is so strong. These songs just do not allow passive listening. They demand attention. Because of that, SnoCaps earns a clear victory. Again, might be one of my favorite releases of the year. So many high spots in this short 33-minute runtime. Cue the whole thing up. It's a great front to back listen. I listened to these albums as part of my quest to hear 1,000 new music releases in 2025. Here's a rundown of all the other albums I heard in October. Old Man Corner. I listened to 67 albums in October 2025 from artists that have been recording music for at least 25 years. We're putting 2.5 minutes on the clock, and we're going to run through as many as we can. Joseph Arthur and Peter Buck, Arthur Buck 2. Far from a perfect album, but this features great production and songwriting. Buck in particular is in fine form, and Arthur serves as a solid foil for the guitar work. The Autumn Defense, Here and Nowhere. The 1960s sound delivers moments of just absolute bliss and flirts with Beatlesque song structure at times. There are some lulls, and overall lands more as an up and down listening experience than a real full album experience, but it does wrap up with 2 very strong songs, and that pushed me to give it a extremely light green. Also, the Wilco-adjacent nature means that I'm going to be rooting for it regardless. Luther Dickenson, Dead Blues Volume 1. Grateful Dead inspired blues by the great Luther Dickenson. Sign me up. This does a good job of touching both worlds without ever planting a flag in one particular lane. I wanted to like it more, and it's definitely a cool idea that is well executed. Dickenson is vastly underrated, so check out all of his stuff. North Mississippi All-Stars. He was with the Black Crowes for a while. Volume 1 in this, so I'm hopeful that there'll be more stuff down the line in this vein. Holy Sons, Puritan Themes. This was billed as psych, but it didn't really scratch the itch that I look for from psych music. It is a hazy album that operates in the shadows. Looking forward to a second listen on it, but a little tepid on a first spin. The Bar Brothers, Let It Hiss. Super light green here. The talent's undeniable, and any Jim James guest spot deserves at least a passing listen. This falls into the low ceiling, high floor range for me. All the songs are pretty good, but none are really great. Alison Brown and Steve Martin, Safe, Sensible, and Sane. This is closer to a solid yellow for me, but the musicianship and guest really elevate this to a next level. A song like Bluegrass Radio just doesn't land for me, but the Aoife O'Donovan and Sarah Jarosz track just slaps. Sarah Jarosz is one of my favorites, so listen to anything that she does as well. I also listened to a bunch of recommendations from NPR's incredible New Music Friday podcast, a resource invaluable to my quest to hear these 1,000 new albums in 2025. So let's put 2 minutes up on the board and plow through a bunch of their suggestions. Guided by Voices, Thick, Rich, and Delicious. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, so I'm legally obligated to like this, which I do, but there are far better sources to figure out where this ranks in the 70 albums in Guided by Voices discography. And that doesn't count the litany of side projects that Bob Pollard pops up on. It's crazy. Meme de la Real, La Montana Encendida. Dita? I don't know why I put myself through this, honestly. Why would I have myself try to read that? That was a terrible idea. This stands as a really interesting listen. Tracks tastefully overflow with ideas, both bold and subtle. Again, there may be a language barrier issue for some people here, but the highs are just too high to ignore. Madison Cunningham, Ace. Not sure how often I would revisit this, but the quality of songwriting and the performance demands at least a consideration for multiple spins. This operates on the edges of singer-songwriter territory as it has so many elements that elevate it beyond that genre. Just great subdued vocals really stood out as well. Tame Impala, Deadbeat. This is just way too dancey for me. I'm not hyper familiar with the band outside of, Lonerism and Currents. I love those albums, but I've really fallen off since then. This does not feel like that, and this should have been an event, and it definitely was not. Finally, here's a quick tally on my quest to hear 1,000 new music release LPs in 2025, broken down by my convoluted rating system. So in October, Solid Red 1, Yellow Turning Red 4, Solid Yellow 112, Green Turning Yellow 26, Solid Green 4 for a total of 147, and on the year, Solid Red 11, Yellow Turning Red 73, Solid Yellow 599, Green Turning Yellow 204, Solid Green 28, for a grand total of 915 releases. We have about a month and a half left because releases really dry up at the end of December, but only 85 to go. Feeling really good about my chances. There's going to be some work to do in November, but feeling good that we're going to get it done. So that's it. If you want to check out more of my thoughts on the albums I've heard in 2025, check out my recent New Music Deathmatch. And as always, find some great music and play it loud.